Hello, and welcome to this video. Before we get started, let's thank our sponsors first about this latest edition of Being Stranded. Let's thank our sponsors. We start with Pat Foye, Chairman of the MTA, reminding you to be sure to stay tuned to next edition of Voice for Peace Theater, where I talk about how bad things are at the MTA, cuts coming, and not letting all the speakers speak, because I don't really care. Yar. And also brought to you by Ed Mangano and Andrew Cuomo, who Pat Foye served under as Deputy County Executive, now running the MTA. How's that for a chain of corruption? Okay, so let's take a look at the latest edition of track work, and yes, they have lied again. In the committee books, it was only supposed to be one weekend, November 14th to 15th, but they added a second one, November 21st to 22nd. Now, the good news is, with this particular plan, it will not be as bad for us in Mineola, but there are still other people that are going to be getting screwed, and some people are going to be getting screwed really badly. So, on the weekends of November 14th and November 15th, as well as the November 21st to 22, Long Island Railroad crews will be working near the Hicksville station to upgrade switches and install and test new signals and longer-lasting concrete ties. This is good news, of course. The work needs to be done, and especially in Hicksville, it needs to be done because we know all the switch and signal problems they already have there. So they definitely need this work done. The changes will improve reliability along the corridor and provide the capacity needed in preparation for a new third track between Hicksville and Floral Park, and will require service adjustments. So, on Saturday, on the Port Jefferson branch, eastbound service will operate between Penn Station and Mineola. The good news is, shuttle bus service will be available at Mineola for connecting bus service to Hicksville, Syosset, Cold Spring Harbor, and Huntington. Westbound from Huntington, Cold Spring Harbor, Syosset, and Hicksville, westbound buses will operate hourly to Mineola. Customers will transfer at Mineola to connecting train service to Penn Station. So, Carl Place and Westbury customers can utilize the N22 and N24 nice bus routes. Yes, these buses will not be serving Carl Place and Westbury. How's that for discrimination? So, once again, they're being told, well, you have to take the 22 and 24, which will be cross-armoring. You know the deal. They don't run all night, so if you have to come back late at night, sorry, you're going to get stranded and ripped off by a taxi, Uber, or Lyft. Train service between Huntington and Port Jefferson will operate every 2 hours. Eastbound customers will transfer at Mineola for bus service to Huntington, where they will transfer to train service for points east of Huntington. Westbound customers will transfer to Huntington for bus service to Mineola, where they will then transfer to train service for the remainder of their trip. So the reason why we're getting busing at Mineola is not to help out people in Mineola to get A's. It's to help the people from going from on the Huntington line in Hicksville, because they cannot have service at Hicksville at all on Saturday. That's the only reason why. Otherwise, it would be the same deal that we've dealt with before. On Sunday, train service between Penn Station and Huntington will operate hourly. So there will be train service through Hicksville. Most trains will make all stops between New Hyde Park and Huntington, including Carl Place and Westbury. And trains between Huntington and Port Jefferson will operate every 2 hours. The Ronkonkoma branch, however, will not be able to serve Hicksville during this time. So customers should be able to plan for an additional 60 minutes of travel. Train service between Penn Station and Ronkonkoma will operate every 2 hours. This may have to do, I don't know, but this may have to do with the limitations of the reverse moves because they're going to be running the Z train. Trains will be routed to and from the South Shore via the Babylon and Central branches, and you got to remember, during this period, there are no signals through Hicksville, so that may be why they're not able to run any more service on the Ronkonkoma line. Ronkonkoma trains will not make stops at Bethpage or Babylon. Trains will stop at Ronkonkoma, Central Islip, Brentwood, Deer Park, Wyandanch, Pine Lawn, Farmingdale, and Jamaica, but will change directions twice. So this is the Z train, which I'm glad they brought back. All right, however, no service at Bethpage. You'll see. Trains between Ronkonkoma and Greenport will operate on adjusted schedules, with departures from Greenport at, I'm not going to read all these times. There will be no, this is the real outrage, there will be no train or bus service at Bethpage. Customers are recommended to board at Seaford on Saturday and Hicksville on Sunday for direct train service. So they want people to go to the South Shore. But what if you don't have a car? How are you supposed to get from Bethpage to Seaford? There's no even alternative bus. They're not providing any alternative transportation. People at Bethpage, they are literally left stranded, and the taxis are gonna love it. They're gonna love it. They're gonna be ripping people off left and right. This is what goes on. This is classic corruption for you. Some or most westbound trains, and let me remind you, the Long Island Railroad, their own rules require them to provide alternative transportation, but somehow they can break their own rules because it's corruption. Some or most westbound trains will depart Oyster Bay 14 minutes earlier than usual. Eastbound trains will depart up to 1 hour earlier than usual, and there will be revised schedules as well on other branches for this. So I'm glad they're bringing back the Z train. I'm very glad they did that. That's an improvement. I'm glad they have buses at Mineola, but we know why the Mineola is getting buses, because they cannot run through Hicksville. And that's the reason why the Z train is running as well, because during this track work, there will be no way for trains from Ronkonkoma to access Hicksville as well on both days. So that's why they're doing that. Otherwise, it would be the same deal that we've dealt with plenty of times before. But that's why. So, let's go ahead and look at the schedule here. And we're going to first start with the Ronkonkoma branch. These are the schedules, and we're going to look at this. So, service to Ronkonkoma is reduced from hourly to 2 hourly. Diesel trains will operate in Penn Station, originate in Penn Station, and are diverted to operate via the Montauk and Central branches, after which they will make all stops from Farmingdale through Ronkonkoma. These trains will not stop at Bethpage, which will be closed on these 2 weekends. So they're just going to close the Bethpage station completely. It's possible it's being closed because of the signals. They might be replacing the tracks. But why are there no shuttle buses? Once again, how do they get away with not providing shuttle buses? New Jersey Transit always provides shuttle buses. But somehow, the MTA, under Pat Foye, thinks that they don't have to provide shuttle buses anymore. And this is why Pat Foye needs to resign from the MTA. He needs to resign. But we know he's not going to resign unless the governor tells him to resign. And I really wish Governor Cuomo would really help us out and do something. So, service from, you know the deal. So, here's the schedule. Let's go look at the schedule. So, you will see there is two major problems with this. How is one supposed to get from Hicksville to points on the Ronkonkoma branch? There are no shuttle buses available for those people. None. And a lot of people travel between Hicksville and points east on the Ronkonkoma branch. So how are they supposed to get there? People are going to get ripped off again. This is unacceptable. This is discrimination. This is illegal. The MTA is breaking the laws, breaking their own rules, and somehow they think they can get away with it. So it's going to be very interesting. I'm going to show you what's going to be happening at Hicksville for sure. Because how are people supposed to get to points east? You should have a shuttle bus between Hicksville and Farmingdale. But no, they're not going to do that. You're pretty much on your own. What you will have to do if you're really desperate, you're going to have to take the Huntington train, and, well, that's if when there is a train. If you're really desperate, you're just going to have to, you can't even take a direct bus. There's no bus that goes from Hicksville directly to Farmingdale. You'd have to take the 49 and then transfer to the 70, 71, 70. I mean, you could do that. That's the only way to do it. 48, 49 to down to East Meadow, and then the 70 or 71 or 72 down to Farmingdale. That's how you're going to have to do it. That's how you're going to have to do it. So these are the things. On some days, there is a V, which means that there is a shuttle. Some trains have buses, so let's see. V means transit. Yeah, there will be some buses to points east on some of these Greenport trains, at least. It looks like. So let's see. Eastbound, no, there aren't any. But westbound, they have some buses. It looks like in the PM hours that will go to stopping at Farmingdale, but no, they won't stop at Bethpage. They just skip Bethpage because Bethpage is screwed. And then Sunday, it looks like they do have. Oh, so the train does run on Sunday. 12:45 Ronkonkoma. All right. It does have a train running. That's interesting. That's interesting. So Sunday there is train service. Hold on. So it's only. It says Saturdays and Sundays, but then I'm confused. Bethpage station will be closed. The bottom line is you need to have a shuttle bus. How do you not have a shuttle bus? That's crazy. So let's look at the Port Jefferson branch now. Well, this is what I mean with Pat Foye. He's just a real piece of, you know what? I can't say it on here, but you know, it's Pat Foye is just an awful person. Awful person to do this to people, and he needs to pay one day. So here is what it looks like. This would be on Saturdays. This would be the schedule. So you get a train, all stops to Mineola, hourly service from Penn Station. The times aren't completely regular. Then you get on a bus, but the bus does not stop at Carl Place in Westbury. That should stop at Carl Place in Westbury. It's discrimination again. And then, and we know why this is. You know, I don't want to hear, oh, we got buses for the Long Beach branch when they're doing work because it's a certain demographic, right? But because it's mostly people of color that live in Westbury, well, they're left stranded. Right, exactly. This is how the MTA gets away with it. It's unbelievable. This is all Wall Street. This is all because the MTA is controlled by Wall Street. So you'll see here that you transfer, and then on Saturdays you have to take the bus all the way to Huntington, basically, and then that bus will connect up with the train. All right, that's not too bad. All right, and then you have train service on Sundays, so you will have train service hourly. Looks like hourly train service, right? Yeah, hourly train service on Sundays. So you will have hourly service through Hicksville on the Huntington Line, but not on the Ronkonkoma Line. So now we're going to go to the Babylon branch and see how the Babylon branch is affected. And we'll see if they have any reduced service on the Babylon branch. It does not look like this. It just adjusted schedules, basically. Just adjusted schedules. It says note here. Note. It says wait time in Jamaica for service to Penn Station is greater than 20 minutes. So that's what the note means. So generally, Babylon branch gets to keep its half-hourly service, which is interesting. But again, that's what, you know, they don't want to inconvenience a certain. What's going to happen is people are just going to go to the Babylon branch, most likely, like they've always done. You know, because again, everybody wants to be on the South Shore. That's what this whole plan is about. You know, but more people being stranded again. It's just unbelievable how they are leaving people stranded at Bethpage. So let me go to maps here. I'll show you how long you're going to have to walk if you live in Bethpage. All right, Bethpage station is here. All right, you can say, "Oh, go to Hicksville." Well, this is even longer. Hicksville's a really long walk from Bethpage. All right. However, what you can do from the Bethpage train station, let's see, you can walk. May not be that much of it. Might not actually be that far. It's about one. It's a little over a mile. It's not 2 miles at least. You can walk and get the bus along Hempstead Turnpike that'll take you to Farmingdale. But this is the way the railroad thinks. They think they can just get away with what they're doing. All right, you know, telling people in Bethpage, sorry, you're on your own, or telling people in Carl Place in Westbury, sorry, you'll have to rely on Nice Bus. We're not going to provide you with the shuttle bus. You know, meanwhile, on the Long Beach line, whenever they shut the Long Beach down, oh, they always get shuttle buses. Isn't that interesting? You know, they could take the N15. N15 stops near Long Beach, Island Park. It's a little more of a walk from Oceanside, but not as long as it is from Bethpage to Hempstead Turnpike. Center Avenue, that's not that far from Lynbrook. I mean, why does Long Beach get shuttle? But they shouldn't get shuttle buses at all. How about that? But no, that won't happen because a certain demographic lives there and has to get everything their way. I'm tired of these Wall Street people. I really am. I'm tired of them. You know, I absolutely am tired of this corruption going on. And it needs this needs to stop. This has gone on for long enough. People need to just speak up and rise up against this corruption. If 30 people or 40 people spoke at every MTA board meeting and hundreds of people call the elected officials about how bad we're getting treated, something would happen. But nobody is speaking up. Everybody just sits there and takes it. And that's what a certain demographic loves. Because a certain demographic always speaks up. They're always out there. You see them, cheering on, even though he's lost the election, Trump. You see them, they're very vocal, and they know it. They know that they got the big mouth, and we're quiet and just sitting there taking it. We're not going to take this anymore. And I am going to look into see if we can sue the Long Island Railroad over this, because they have to provide alternative transportation. That is the rules. That is their own rules, and they keep getting away with not living up to their end of the agreement. And we can't let them get away with this anymore. Thank you for watching.